show you how to use the Rolling Cards template for Final Cut X and Motion 5. In this tutorial, I will show you how to turn this template into this video animation. Okay, so let's get started. Inside of Final Cut X, I will first want to create this vignette background. The template comes with an alpha background, so you can lay it on top of video or any other background element that you have. So for demonstration purposes, I will create that background. First thing I will do is I will go into Generators, Solids. I will choose a custom solid and drag it onto the timeline. I will then click on it, click on the inspector panel, and then choose the color that I want. Okay. The next thing I will do is add a vignette to this background. To do that, I just need to go into my effects browser and then go down to Stylize. And now just look for the vignette effect and drop it right on top. And then just adjust the vignette to your liking. Now I will drop the template on top of this background. I will go into my Generators browser, go to Motion Master Templates, then go down until you find Rolling Cards. I have two choices, Rolling Cards and Rolling Cards Slow. Rolling Cards Slow is just a slower version of the Rolling Cards template. So if you think the Rolling Cards is a little too fast, then I would recommend you use Rolling Cards Slow. So now I will grab Rolling Cards template and put it right on top of the background. And then I will stretch the background to match up the template. Okay. Now to affect this template, just click on the template clip inside of your timeline. You can now close the Generators pane and give you some more room. And then click on the Generator tab inside of your inspector pane. And here we have all the parameters to affect this template. These parameters are exactly the same as in Motion 5. I have a spotlight, which if you turn it to ambient, you'll lose this little vignette shadow in the corner. If you switch to ambient, you'll lose that spotlight effect on your drop zone. I also have a DOF blur amount, which means depth of field blur amount. So as the object is closer and further away from the camera, you get a nice little blur to give a more of a sense of realism. If you want to take that away, either because you do not like it or because you want to speed up your renders, just bring it down to 0. Or you can adjust it to however much blur you want. As the animation gets into focus, it gets sharp, and as it goes away, it blurs out again. I also have a roundness parameter, so you can affect the roundness of your drop zone. So if you bring it all the way to 0, you get sharp corners. If you bring it all the way up, you get a smoother corner. If you want it to go any higher than 50, all you have to do is grab the number and push it to the right. Each drop zone also has the ability to adjust the pan, to adjust the position inside of the effect, and the scale. You also have the ability to turn on your text on or off. And you also have the ability to add a background color. So for example, if you add an image that has an alpha channel on it, you can have the image appear without a background, or if you want, you can turn the background on and then adjust the color. The choice is yours. Now I will click Ctrl Z to undo the last few steps. And those are the parameters. Now we'll get started by adding some images to all the drop zones. So the first thing you need to do is select your first drop zone, click on it, find an image, a photograph, or video that you would like to add. You click on it inside of your clip browser and just click Apply Clip. And then you can scale it up if you need to. Okay, I am first going to drop in all the drop zones, and then I will go back and adjust all the text. Okay, then I'll add the next one. Apply Clip. Add the next one. Then add drop zone 4. And then I'll add drop zone 5. Okay, if you scroll back, you can see all the drop zones have been filled in. Now I will adjust the text. To adjust the text, just double click on the text and then go to your text tab, and you can adjust all the parameters from there. You can add outline, glows, drop shadows, adjust the font, anything you want to do. So for this text, I want to bring the text to the bottom and to the left. And the easy way to do that is just to do vertical alignment and click on bottom. And then I can use the alignment to push it to the left. And then just type in what you want the text to say. And I also want to add a little bit of, let me add a different font. And then I will add an outline. And I'll bring the outline to about 4. And the color, I usually like to match it up with something inside the image, just so it blends nicely. Okay. And then once you're done, just click on the Escape key. And that will get you out of the text editing. Okay, now I will move on to the next one. I will continue to do the same for all the remaining text. And that's it. All you need to do now is render it and you're done. Also, if you want to add more of these images, this template is loopable. All you need to do is Ctrl C to copy, Ctrl V to paste. Just drag it up and overlap it a little bit over the prior template clip. And just extend your background. And then just change all the drop zones and text as we did earlier. And you can loop this as many times as you want for as long as you need it. And that is the end of the demonstration for Final Cut X. Now I will show you how to use rolling cards inside of Motion 5. First thing you will need to do is open up your project browser. You can do that by going to File, New from Project Browser, and then you will go down to Final Cut Generators, Motion Master Templates, and then look for Rolling Cards. There are two versions of Rolling Cards. There's Rolling Cards and Rolling Cards Slow. Rolling Cards Slow plays back at half the speed of Rolling Cards. So if you think Rolling Cards is a little too fast, just use Rolling Cards Slow. For this demonstration, I will use the faster version of rolling cards. Once it is open, just click on your timeline button located at the bottom right hand of your screen, and then scroll all the way to the top and you will find a layer called Project. And then you will click on Inspector and then click on the Project tab. Once you are there, you will find all the parameters for this project. I am going to turn off my title safe by clicking on Command and the backslash. If you want to take off the spotlight effect, which gives you a nice little dark edges on the corners of your screen, you can just click this and switch over to ambient. If you want to affect the blur, which we call DOF blur amount, which stands for depth of field blur amount, this affects the blur when the object is close to the camera and also when the object is far away from the camera. If you want to turn it off, just bring it down to 0, or you can adjust it to whatever blur amount you want. You can also affect the roundness on the edge of your drop zone by adjusting your roundness. If you want more than 50, just grab on the number 50 and pull to the right. You can also adjust your pan using the X and Y numbers by clicking on the number and dragging back and forth. And you can also adjust the scale of your drop zone. Okay, so let's get started and add a drop zone so you can see how this works. I will now go to the File Browser, look for an image, or a video, or a graphic, and just simply drag and drop it right onto the drop zone. If you want to change this text, you can go back into your project, and you can turn the text on or off by clicking on text on or off corresponding to the drop zone number. So this is drop zone 1, and if you want it off, just click on off. If you want it on, just turn it on. Also, you have the ability to turn on the background to a color. So if you drop an image that has an alpha channel, you can just turn on the color. So I will show you how that works. So you find an image that has an alpha, you drop it on there, you go into Project, scale it down, turn off the text, and then I can adjust the background color to whatever color you choose. And if you want it transparent, just turn off the background color. I will now undo and go back to the photograph. If you want to adjust this text, all you need to do is double click on the text, and then you will see your text parameters on the left hand side. You can adjust the fonts, you can adjust the type of font, the size, you can adjust the alignment. So if I want this to be on the right hand side, and you can also adjust your vertical alignment, you can. You can also adjust how far off the baseline you want, and then just fill in your text. Now if you want to add some style to it, just go to your Style button, click on Outline, thicken the outline a little bit, and what I like to do is just find a color that contrasts, so it makes the text pop out just a little bit. Now if you want to add a background to the whole template behind your drop zones, all you need to do is go down to your last layer inside of your timeline labeled a background, and you can either draw an image in there or just drop an image straight into that layer. So for this demonstration, I will draw a background image. First thing you will need to do is go to the beginning of your timeline, select your background layer, then choose Rectangle inside of your drawing tools, and just draw in your rectangle. And then you can customize your rectangle. If you want to add a little vignette to this rectangle, just go to your Effects button, go down to Style, and then click on Vignette. The vignette adds nice dark corners to the edge of your image or shape. And adjust it as much as you want. And that's it. All you need to do now is add all your images and text to the following drop zones. I hope you enjoy this template, and I'll see you next time. Have a wonderful day.
MotionMasterTemplates.com